how does that, maybe solidify a little bit better?
Yeah, I think kind of the big challenge, both for me as a quarterback on getting the ball out on time, is can I get the ball out to the third and fourth progression in the same timing that I would get the first read. And that's been something that I've been really, I think, growing at in these last couple weeks is I'm able to get to the third and fourth progression off what would be the timing of the first guy in the progression. And I think the more that I'm able to do that, and every single week, defenses are going to show different challenges and different, confusing looks. And I think just the more that I can, prepare myself for those looks, it'll really help the team. And I can, that's just what I'm trying to do is, how can I, play quarterback in a way that gives us the best chance to win.
To the average person, I mean, that sounds difficult. Getting to your third, fourth progression as quickly as you would your first. Is that just like pre-snap reads, or?
It's a combination of both. So it's pre-snap, understanding what my possibilities are, and then also looking at body language, eyes, and then movement post-snap as well. And I think, that's a part of playing quarterback, and I think that's a part of the challenge too of playing quarterback.
What's the DNA of this Michigan State team? New coach, probably finding new things out from last year's team. So what do you see on their defense?
Yeah, I mean, I think overall, they've played really good teams. I mean, I think that's kind of what the film shows, is that they've played good teams. They have talent, and they have some speed as well. And I think, they have overall they can be very confusing. And I think, that's going to be a good challenge for us, is that they'll show a variety of looks. And, I think that's what, that's a part of the week for preparation in terms of, what we need to focus on. And I think, how can we best be prepared for some of those looks, and because they're a good defense, they have a lot of a variety, and just like any defense in the Big Ten, competing and preparing is a challenge during the week.
What's it been like in terms of having Brendan in for that goal line package, kind of from your perspective? And have you ever been in kind of a situation like this?
Well, I've been in this situation before where they would, Michigan would use JJ to run a little bit, and it kind of, we've had some success with that, and I think he was able to run for a first down when it was short yardage. So whatever keeps the ball moving.
Okay, this past game, offense, defense, special teams finally seemed like a little click. Is that kind of what you guys have been striving for? Is that four-quarter game where everything seems to finally come together?
Absolutely. I mean, I think, kind of like that little lack of consistency is, at times it can be frustrating that, when you're as a competitor and as a team, when we're not playing to our full potential, that can be frustrating and it can lead to losses. And I think for us to, put in the great week of practice that we did last week, and for us to really just play a complete game on Saturday was just overall just a really big step for our team. And I think it just goes to show the effort that the guys are putting in during the week, that, we're still striving to get better even through wins and losses, adversity, success. And I think, and now we're going to a week where we won a game instead of lost a game. That shouldn't change at all. I think, I really think that the guys are approaching it that way.
All right. So this is your homecoming game kind of coming up this week. How far did you grow up from East Lansing?
Yeah, so I grew up right outside Flint, Michigan, Davidson, Michigan. It's about 40 minutes outside East Lansing. So, yeah, I'm going to have a lot of family there. It'll be cool to play there.
Did you go to Michigan State games growing up?
I did not. My dad played at Michigan, so I was a Michigan fan growing up. But, no, yeah, it's still close enough to where it'll be fun.
So this is like a double whammy for you, growing up a Michigan fan and playing Michigan.
Yeah, definitely for my dad more so. But, yeah, it'll be fun.
What position was your dad?
He was a right tackle.
Okay.
When did he play? How long was this?
91 to 95.
So what has it just been like in the red zone package? How did that get started, and what has that just been like for you to be a part of?
Yeah, I'm just extremely grateful to be able to get on the field. Just super grateful to be able to contribute to the team on the field, rather than just at practice. And just being able to use my athleticism to my advantage just helped with that. So just extremely grateful that they trust me enough to get on the field and go execute in the red zone.
And not only the red zone, but also a 3rd and 1, sort of between the 20s. You got in there for that. Did that, what was that like to sort of see your role expand a bit?
Yeah, it was awesome. Knowing they trust me enough to go do that in the open field as well, it felt really good. Just being able to get out there with the guys and execute to the best of my abilities was fun.
Can you walk us through the play that, thankfully was not a fumble, but did you see somebody that you were trying to pass to, or what happened on that play?
Yeah, just poor execution on my part. Something that I'm going to get figured out, and I'm not too worried about it. After that, I've been working on it so far this week, and just to drop drop snap. That's pretty much all it was, and so something that I'll get cleaned up and won't happen again.
What's it been like working with Coach Lester on these packages, bringing you in, and just kind of the excitement of him including you and stuff like that?
Yeah, it's been great. He's been awesome with it, kind of easing me in and walking me through it during practice and in meetings, and he's just been awesome with it throughout this whole process.
How do you feel like this package kind of fits your skill set?
I think I'm an athletic guy that can kind of run the ball and give a little bit of threat of pass too. So I think just my athleticism and my ability to make guys miss and maybe run through some guys is kind of what the advantages are.
Plus, you're handing off to Caleb Johnson too. How fun is that?
Yeah, it's pretty fun. He's had a heck of a year, so it's fun to share the backfield with him and kind of have a dual threat back there to threaten the defense. So it's been good.
Was it Tim that first came to you and said that they were going to put in that red zone package, or who came to you first and kind of let you know that that was going to be a thing?
Yeah, it might have been him. I'm not too sure. I kind of forget. It was a couple weeks back, but just kind of just something that I'm excited and grateful to be a part of, and hopefully it keeps expanding.
Going back to your Michigan roots, it seems like there's like 8 or 10 Michigan guys on this Iowa team. Do you guys, I don't know, is that like, did you grow up close to any of them, or are there any other ones that are either Michigan fans or Michigan State fans?
Yeah, I'm not sure anybody's roots as far as who they're fans of, but it's cool just talking to the guys about their experiences in Michigan. They're all pretty similar. We kind of see ourselves as some gritty guys, and we kind of share that across the locker room. So it's fun just talking about how we grew up with each other, and then also being able to go back to our home state and play a game is something we've shared with us as well.
Was there anybody on this roster that you would have played against in high school or anything?
I missed Cohen by a year.
Okay.
My high school played his high school the year after I graduated.
Okay.
Beat him pretty good too, but no, yeah, that's the only guy that I missed. But yeah, there's a couple guys went to King, Belleville, all those schools, and so definitely could have played them, but just didn't.
Sure.
Walk me through what you saw in that your kind of little hitch to Addison earlier in the year on that touchdown.
Oh yeah, just his own read. The end came crashing down, so I kept it, and I was right there. I think I could have ran it in too, but he was in front of me, so I was like, might as well give him the ball, and we both got a touchdown out of it. So it was a super cool experience, and it was awesome just to be able to get my first touchdown as a Hawkeye. That was a really cool feeling.
What about the tackles? Just taking field?
That was my highlight of the game. I mean, forget the 4 field goals, forget the killing the guy on the kickoff. I've never made a tackle. Like, I've never had my own tackle in a game in my entire career. So, I don't know. That was pretty cool. It felt good in the moment, and I don't know, it was kind of cool to hear everybody screaming very ungodly things at you. And I don't know, it felt good in the moment. And coming off the field, I was like, dang, man, like getting a lot of respect from my defensive teammates because crap hurt.
You look pretty proud of that.
I was. I mean, yeah.
Do you feel like, do you maybe not, do you pay attention less to the outside noise now than you did previously, or is that?
Yeah.
Like what changed, do you feel like?
I don't know. I just think I stopped caring about what people say, because I don't know. It's pretty predictable too. Like if I have a bad game, obviously people are not going to say good things, and if I have a good game, people are going to say good things. It's just how it goes usually. So I mean, I don't know. I don't really care too much. Like you can't let it affect you, because then they win.
With the kickoff, did you see the clip of they interviewed the guy?
I mean, I've seen it probably 100 times on the TV copy. Just every time someone sends me it, I look at it at least once. And yeah, I heard them interview the guy too. That was pretty funny. It got us pumped up.
Is that how pumped up you are on kickoffs?
Yeah. I mean, I was pretty pumped up the rest of that game after the tackle. But I mean, I didn't really. I try to follow the ball just because I want to see like how far it went, and I hit that particular kickoff pretty good. So I mean, I did follow the ball, but I mean, I can't see it when it flies into the crowd like that. But I heard everybody reacting like, "Yep, totally killed somebody." Because it happened. Yeah, freshman year at Ohio State, I killed somebody too in the stands on a kickoff.
It seems to be a point of pride now. How many people can you hit in one season?
We need to put like a little warning sign: kickoffs inbound in the south end zone.
What do you like about the way you responded from the Ohio State kick?
I mean, I like how I responded to that. I mean, a 4-for-4 game, you don't get those opportunities very much, let alone to be able to like perform well in those opportunities. But I mean, Ohio State taught me like something, maybe even unintentionally, but it just failure really makes you like look at like the small details and like what you're doing. And I ended up like changing the way I get to my steps to make it more consistent. And I also learned that like the crown of a field like makes the ball draw like a golf shot. If the ball's above your feet, it draws left, and vice versa.
How different of a player are you last year to now in terms of that? Just like, that was the first time that you had to actually, handle some adversity this season. What have you done differently in the week and a half since that game and to recover and hit 4 field goals compared to maybe how you would have recovered a year ago?
Well, I feel like the difference this year is I just like know my like technique like a lot better. Like when I messed up last year, I like really didn't know like what I was doing like wrong, if that makes sense. Yeah. But this year, like when I missed that kick, I knew. Like I was like, yeah, I mean that drew more than it should, and then I thought, I was like, yeah, it's because the field's like sloped. So I still have like a set. I have like a set like plan to make kicks. Like it's not I'm just run out there and kicking the ball. Like I know like what I have to think up here and like how I have to like go with the ball to like make a kick. So I'd say that's the main difference is I know what I'm doing right and wrong.
You were talking about your tackle, that was the first one. I mean, in high school you never had a tackle or anything?
High school I had like a half tackle.
Okay.
I like scooped the guy's legs out, but I had a teammate also like fall on him too, so it was a half tackle.
How did you know what to do? Like, I mean, I don't know if you practice those often, or like, how do you kind of know what you're doing out there when you're going after a tackle? Like, are you hesitant in that moment, or are you just like trying to go after it every time?
Well, I can kind of like tell, like if he's running, like I don't know. I look at him like the returner before I like decide or like see where our guys are at. And as soon as they bounced outside, like there's like I can't really describe it. There's like a moment where you know like, oh, I better get going, like because like the R3 didn't blow up the area or whatever. As soon as I saw like Nestor, as soon as I saw him beat Nestor, I would say that's like the moment I realized like, ooh, I better go.
So you have a tackle in a game and then you dome someone in a game. Is that the most eventful game? I mean, like, obviously you've had games where you have to make game-winning field goals, but is that like the most eventful in terms of strange events happening in a game for you?
I mean, that was probably the most fun game of my career, I'll tell you that, because it's just, I don't know, so many spotlight moments, you know. But I mean, I enjoyed doming the guy. I did. That was a bomb kickoff. I mean, heads up in the south end zone. And I enjoyed making the tackle. Got to talk some shit, and yeah, I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but you know.
Believe it out. You can say whatever you want.
Go ahead. I'm sure you've been asked this already, but where are you on the subject of like extended goalposts?
Yeah, extend them. Yeah, I don't really like the refs being the judges. I mean, they got a lot of other things they got to worry about. I'd rather just be so tall that a kick can't go over it. So it's either inside the post or outside the post, no judgment. I don't know, that's my stance.
Were you surprised to see two of those in the same game? I mean, you each had one. What kind of?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. In my opinion, I mean, tie goes to the offense, right? So I'll take it. I thought it was in. Just I don't know. I thought it like drew after it got to the post, but you know, I mean, they're down there. They see it better than anybody. I thought his went in too as a kicker, like after I watched the replay, but you know, that's just one man's opinion. The only thing that matters is the guys in the zebra shirts' opinions.
A long time, but you know, it felt really good, and it was a lot of fun that game.
Do you ever look back at the 2022 tape?
Oh, geez. I don't. Our backup center, Cade Pieper, he watches it just to make him feel a little bit better about himself. So he told me that, yeah, it's pretty ugly.
How does it, like, on a serious note, make you feel? Knowing what you were on film you were just a defensive tackle out of Lewis Central, but knowing that your coaches had faith that you could get to this point, what does that kind of do for you?
It gives me a lot of confidence. I mean, you know, they saw something in me that, you know, I didn't see in myself at that time. And, you know, they stuck with me even when it got ugly. You know, I have a lot of respect for Coach Barnett and Coach Fanarts, you know, for sticking with me even though things were ugly at some points. And, you know, I think things, you know, have started to work out quite a bit. And, you know, they saw that. You know, that's their job as coaches. You know, if I were a coach at that time, I'd probably like, pull him, you know, he sucks right now. So, but, you know, I appreciate them. You know, I love offensive line and playing with these guys. And, you know, I'm just super grateful for them.
Is there a point where that confidence really started to kind of click?
Yeah, I think, you know, it was really last year before my high ankle, which kind of sucked. I felt like I was playing at my most confident and highest level, and then I got hurt, which kind of sucked. But this season, I feel very confident, and I don't know if I think it's just the guys that I have around me. Like I said, they just raise my level of play when I see them play, and they do it at such a high level. So it makes you want to play at that level too. And when you got Caleb Johnson back there running the ball hard, it makes it easier to go out there and just want to go kill somebody. So it's a lot of fun.
Linemen don't always, of course, get the accolades that a lot of the skill positions do, but I mean, you guys are on the watch list for that Joe Moore Award, and you've got Caleb Johnson, who's second in the nation in rushing yards, and is that just like kind of, compared to where you were the last 2 years, kind of a boost in your confidence now?
Yeah, I mean, you look back at the 2016 team and the Joe Moore Award that they won. That offensive line is crazy, and that is something that we want to do, honestly, and it was a dream of ours. But right now we're just focused on this week and what we need to do, and as long as we're focused on the now and getting better in practice, everything will take care of itself. We don't really care about the accolades and all this stuff, but if we're winning football games, that's all that matters to us right now, and that's our job. We have everything out there for us still if we want to go out and take it. We just got to continue to do that and grow each week.
Caleb told us over the weekend that his goal for the year was 1,200 rushing yards and 12 touchdowns, and he's already met one of those goals, and he's getting pretty close to the other in the next game or two. Do you guys as linemen, do you set any sort of like tangible goals like that?
I mean, the Joe Moore Award is really the only thing like that that you could say, especially as a unit. We don't really care about much else other than winning. I think that's the biggest thing. As long as we're winning, that's good enough for us, and it's a lot of fun to go out there and play, and to see. And if KJ does get all those awards, that's pretty cool because we got a block for him, right? And I think he's going to continue to get better, and he's definitely going to get some awards at the end of the season. I think if he plays the way he does and stays healthy and all these things. But yeah, we're just taking it game by game, and as long as the Hawks win, we're winning.
He said he was going to take you guys out to eat too.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh, I'll run that bill up, but I'm gonna we'll see. Yeah. Oh my gosh, their onion rings. Their onion rings are crazy. I'll get that and the lobster mac. So yeah, he'll spoil us hopefully. Yeah.
The offense and getting the ball around, spreading the ball around, things like that. So it's always good seeing your quarterback comfortable back there.
Thanks, Seth.
Of course.
How fun was Saturday's game, just in terms of not just you getting the first catch, but I mean Dayton got his first catch, and it just seems like that, Jacob Gill was the leading receiver, but he didn't even get a catch, and so it's like just kind of spreading out the wealth that you guys are really showing that the wide receiver room has a lot of weapons out there.
Yeah, it was a good win. So like going out there and being able to get a big win with a lot left out there as well is always a good feeling. So we're just pushing towards Michigan State, trying to see what we can execute better to get a bigger win.
I couldn't remember, was that your first time dressing? Like, had you dressed for Ohio State, or were you on the
road? I dressed for Ohio State.
Yeah.
I didn't get in there though, so that was my first game playing. So.
Okay. How are you feeling? I mean, after that game, like, do you feel 100%, or do you still feel like you're recovering a little bit? Or
oh yeah, I'm back now. I don't plan on looking back at all.
Yeah.
So.
Where do you kind of grade this offense where you guys are at right now? I mean, this last game was the first time that seems like the team was able to put a solid 4 quarters together. How do you feel like the offense has progressed from week 1 to where you guys are now?
I mean, yeah, we're always making steps forward. We've just been putting the work in every day, week in, week out, and I feel like we're still yet to play our best game. So we gonna see. I mean, we're working out there. So
be a bit of a double-edged sword where you don't necessarily have the most chemistry among the 4 or 5 guys who are back there. How do you kind of contend with that, deal with that?
Yeah, no, I think it just comes down to watching film together, practicing hard together, and really just being on the same page. I think it just starts with making sure that we're all aligned, and we're just playing the same call. Whether it's we're playing some sort of man concept or just basic cover 2. We just all got to be on the same page, and I think when we're all on the same page, we're executing at a high level, and that's just what it's all about, is making sure we're all on the same page. But I think it's good, allowing guys like Zach, myself, to all get, reps and on-game experience because, we're going to eventually be the future of the program, so it's exciting.
You guys as a defense did a lot of amazing things last year, but turnovers forced really wasn't the strong suit maybe compared to some other Iowa defenses. You guys have really done a good job of turning over the other team. I guess what's been sort of maybe the 2 or 3 components that have kind of allowed you guys to get back to where you want to as far as turning?
Yeah, I think, the biggest thing is, we started doing like a turnover circuit, at the start of practice to kind of just help us hone in on just the fundamentals. I think that's something that KF, that's really his thing, is just being brilliant at the basics and honing in on your fundamentals. And I think that's something that obviously our amazing defensive staff has pretty much told us to do is just focusing on the fundamentals. And I think, you know, us just hammering at the basics every single day, it just becomes second nature when we're out there.
If I remember right, I think your sophomore year of high school, you switched schools because you were told to pursue, was it soccer or it was a different sport? Well, I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, no, it was. I was told that I wasn't. I switched in high school to play football instead of soccer. Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought. But I know there were some stories about the coach didn't think you were good enough. You switched schools and said kind of, I'm going to show him type mentality. You got really end up recruiting. I guess how have you kind of feel like you've taken that underdog role to getting to where you are now, and now it feels like your trajectory and your playing time and everything's kind of what you wanted it to be?
Yeah, I mean, I think just always, just since growing up, you know, my parents and my mom especially, she just told me just perseverance, and you know, you never know when your number is going to be called or when your name's going to be called or when the opportunity is going to present itself. So you just got to stay ready, and I think that's just something that I've just dealt with my entire life, is just making sure you stay ready. And then I think now, because I've just stayed ready so many times, when I go into a big moment, it doesn't seem to faze me because I've been ready for it.
How have you kind of stayed grounded? Because, you know, the patience obviously is one thing, but you want to be out there and continue to work toward it. How have you kind of stayed grounded?
Yeah, I think just the biggest thing is just focusing on self-improvement. I think a lot of times, and a lot of guys who might be in my situation, you know, maybe thinking, hey, I need to make this play, I need to make that play, when you just got to just focus on just improving every single day and just taking one step forward. And in the grand scheme of things, if you just take one step forward, you'll be able to look back in, you know, a week's time and say, wow, I progressed so far.
How far did you grow up from Michigan State, East Lansing?
About an hour and a half, yeah.
Were you a fan or anything? Or?
No, I never was a fan of Michigan State, never, no.
Who was your team? Were you a Michigan fan?
Yeah, I was always a Michigan fan. Yeah, never Michigan State.
I've been surprised at how many, just looking through the roster, you've got, 8 or 10 guys on this team that are from Michigan. Has that been a unifying factor on this team? Just you guys kind of all are kind of having your homecoming game this week.
Yeah, no, I think it's awesome. You know, it's cool, especially when you come from obviously Michigan, moving to Iowa, and then you got, you know, fellow teammates who are also from Michigan. You know, you've heard about them in high school. Maybe they're your friends or something like that. So I think that's awesome, and I think we're just all excited. You know, I have a few buddies who go to Michigan State, so I'm excited to play them. You know, it'll be a fun game.
Did you play against any of your teammates in high school?
No, I didn't.
No? Okay.
No.
What is Iowa's reputation there in the Detroit area and the east side of Michigan? Because they've recruited pretty well there the last few years, but you know, you have so many options in Michigan between like GVSU and Ferris State and Wayne State and all those spots, Oakland. Just what's Iowa's reputation there as a high school kid?
I mean, at least for me, I think just Desmond King, you know, obviously being from Detroit, Michigan, I think he's kind of just paved the way, especially for a DB. And I know for me in the recruiting process, I was able to talk to him, and I think he kind of just is almost like the beacon to show, like, you know, coming from, you know, Michigan, come to Iowa, you know, learn under Phil Parker, and just become a great DB.
When did you start quoting word for word the Kinnick speech in the pregame? I've caught you a couple times now doing that verbatim.
I think it was probably like last year is when I started really listening to it. I think it just, you know, just gets me in that football mode. You know, I just once I hear that speech, the national anthem, you know, I've always been like that in high school. Once I hear that national anthem, it's go time. It's ready.
Was the first time you heard that speech like during your first game, or had you heard it before?
No, it was during my first game. My first ever Iowa game I ever went to was when I dressed for. So.
Yeah. That was your first one?
Yeah.
Like not even a visit or anything?
Yeah, no, I'd never visited Iowa during a game day.
Were you recruited during COVID? Or?
No, I was recruited, but I took my visit in December. Yeah, so.
What is it about that speech?
I don't know. For me, I just think it just gets you going and makes you just remember that, you know, at the end of the day, it's bigger than football, you know.
Do you know the whole speech?
I mean, I know it pretty well, yeah.
Okay. I mean, I only play a segment before the game, so I don't know if you can.
Yeah, I don't know. I only know that little small section. Yeah, I don't know the whole thing. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
What have you seen from Xavier, especially on Saturday? You know, it feels like the outside noise has kind of been, if Cohen's playing more, that means Xavier's not doing something right.
Yeah.
I mean, kid had 10 tackles. He was on special teams, defense. What have you seen from him
the
last couple of weeks?
I just think, you know, I just want to make this clear that, you know, it's not a me versus him situation. You know, we came in the same recruiting class, and I think, you know, he wants to see me succeed just as much as I want to see him succeed. You know, when he makes a play, you know, I'm the first. If you look on the side, I'm the first one celebrating, you know, because, you know, at the end of the day, that's my dog, and eventually it's going to be me and him having the keys to the car, having to drive this defense and things like that. So I think, you know, it's good for the team. You know what I'm saying? We both played well, and we won. And I think that's what the biggest thing is. It's all about us both playing to the best of our ability, and Iowa winning games.
Seemed like there was a especially big celebration on a couple of fourth down stops between Lutmer and Nestor. Those guys seem to really get it good after that one.
Yeah.
Are those guys too that you are close with, or that you really try to?
No, those are definitely guys that I'm close with. Obviously me being a 2 for quite some time. I obviously haven't gotten as many reps with the ones, but it's definitely allowed me to build some chemistry, especially with Harrell, Shire, all those guys. It just feels like I've been out there. When the 2s went in that last long 20-minute drive, it just felt like just an Iowa move the ball practice. I've been out with those guys probably for 100-some plays, and that's what it just felt like. I knew my Mike. I knew where he was going to be. I knew where Lutwer was going to be. Because we just been repping at it so much.
With the run plays, Jake Gilligan in there. Blocking really hard, and then basically the run game set up the play pass, which, we had our other guy run and go route, and then we run across the field, which opens it up basically, and then he darted down the middle. So it was pretty much wide open because of the run game opening it up. So
what was that moment like for you?
It was ecstatic. I always told everybody I didn't had a blackout moment almost because it's my first touchdown. But I'm hoping there's many more to come. Just doesn't matter. Helping the team win. So
is it hard to keep your cool in that? Not being your first touchdown, but being your first catch too. It seems like it'd be hard to just stay cool in that moment.
Yeah, it definitely was hard to stay cool, obviously, because you saw the flag on the spike. But I kind of just lost control. But no, I was just excited and just to finally contribute to the team and impact something like that. So
how would you grade the spike on that?
Oh man, I could have got more arm up higher on that, but probably like a 7.
Yeah, what would Gronk say? What do you think?
He probably wouldn't like it very much. It wasn't that good. So.
Are there any repercussions after getting a penalty like that on a celebration, or the coaches in a kind of a blowout game like that? They're like, whatever, who cares?
It was kind of like whatever. Of course they're going to get on to me because that's their job, but it wasn't a huge deal since the point differential wasn't too bad or too close. So.
Kay talked about you working with scout team last year and the way you've kind of developed and obviously gotten to the point where you are now. What's that journey been like for you? Your work ethic of having to kind of stay focused and get to where you are now.
Yeah, I'd say over the past year has definitely been a really big learning process. Coming in not really knowing what to expect about just college football in general and the program. Putting on weight on the off season, really just the whole off season, putting on weight, putting in work with my teammates, getting connections with my quarterbacks, and just getting right mentally helped me a lot. And I can tell that I've been maturing a lot, and so have my teammates and so many people around the facility, like Jason Manson and my mentor, Coach Rich, helped me so much, and my family obviously just in this with me the whole way, and just helped me mature a lot and just grow. So.
Is there anybody in that wide receiver room who was also kind of mentored you, kind of helped you out a bit?
Yeah, it's kind of just everybody together. It's not really just one guy. Coach Bud, he does a great job of, just make sure we're on task and, making sure we're doing the right things, making sure we're poised all the time. But, we're all just kind of in it together. There's not really one person. Jake Gill, Reese, Bowie, Seth Anderson, all the receivers in there. Weegan, they all stay on top of me. We stay on top of each other, so. Yeah.
Does a 40-point performance like that, it's the first time Iowa scored 40 points against a Big Ten team since 2021. Does it feel like, that could be the inflection point where you look back, it's like that was the game that really got us going for the rest of the year?
Yeah, I definitely think that because, I know what our offense is capable of. We can do that every single game. We just got to – it's really just a battle with ourselves. We can't shoot ourselves in the foot. In that game, we had so much more left on the field to give. But, I feel like we're capable of doing that every single game, no matter no matter what opponent we play.
You're a Michigan kid, right?
Kansas City.
Kansas City, okay.
Missouri, yeah, Kansas City, Missouri.
There's enough Michigan kids out here.
Yeah.
Chiefs fan?
Chiefs fan, big Chiefs fan.
There you go.
Yeah, for sure.
You have a college team growing up? KU or K-State or anything?
I didn't really watch college football. I started watching college football in high school. It was mainly Ohio State though. I always liked Justin Fields and all them, but